Welcome to the first podcast of Secure Space Australia. It's a small company about your internet security, VPNs, firewalls, Internet of Things devices that you may have in your network or your business, and the way we can help is basically secure and lock those down in a way that I learned many years ago when I was in the army for 3 years. I learned a lot of tricks and the ways that we can work the hackers out. But let's start with the great podcast about what happened with Optus today. I think it's a great theme for our first podcast. First of all, Optus will never tell us what really happened. If they do tell us, they'll be looking like a bunch of idiots most likely. Second, if they tell us, they'll try to get it in terminology that will actually never mean anything to anybody. They'll try to say, it happens something with the settings, it happens something with the uploads, but what exactly, why they did it and what they missed, they're never going to tell you that. One thing we can do, we can deduct from the events the way that they happened. We can detect the most likely calls and the most likely set of events that happened, and based on that, we cannot say exactly 100% sure what happens, but we can say, okay, most likely this is what happened. Again, we're not going to hold responsible anybody, not to say anybody personally, but we're going to read events one by one and deduct what most likely happened. The event happened in 6 minutes past 4 this morning. I was actually in my data center setting up some of our new servers, and then I start noticing this disturbance in the force, if you can say it like this. We do have quite a few devices in the data center running using Optus as a backbone for connections. And what we notice is that around 4 o'clock in the morning, they did not lose the signal strength. They did not lose the noise to signal ratio. So there was basically no drop in the signal strength. There was no drop in the connection quality, but the devices could not identify themselves to the network, which means that the SIM cards inside, their serial number, their MEI, and then their identification didn't make any sense for the network. So the network say, I don't know you, therefore I'm not going to give you anything. So let's go through officially what happens according to 9 News and many other news. Again, it happened, if you look in the screen, it happened according to the 5 or 6 minutes after 4. Now that's our first clue, and it's quite important one, because everybody has dealt with Unix servers, Windows servers, and automatic updates on those servers, knows that this is the default time where those updates are being pushed. First of all, I've been in server management administration for more than 20 years. Again, I'm not picking on anybody in Optus specifically, but to set up your default time, to leave the default time and set up your updates, database updates, server updates, firmware updates for 4 o'clock in the morning, it's quite strange. From point of the hackers, that's what they expect. 4 o'clock in the morning is the default, so that the first thing that the server administrator basically needs to assess is, okay, well, this is the default setting. Should I leave it 4 o'clock in the morning, or should I make it later or sooner? Benefits of having it at 4 o'clock in the morning, if the update takes like only a few minutes, the amount of people that are going to be using that network at that time are very little amount of people, very slim traffic is on the network. The downside is if something happens after those updates in 4 o'clock in the morning and you're down for hours, you only have few hours to react before the businesses will start opening. And that's a huge downside. That's why most of our servers that we do set up, we do advise our customers, or we do it ourselves. They usually start the updates much earlier. For example, if I was setting the Optus server, I will be setting it something like 1 o'clock in the morning, not 4. Benefits of that will be 1 o'clock in the morning. There's still a few people on the network, but they're not many. There are only a few businesses that operate at that time. If something happens, you have 5 hours before 6 o'clock to fix the issues, identify the issues, and fix the issues. So that's number one, wrong timing of the update. Okay, and when the CEO comes on the TV and says, "Oh, our team was working really hard to fix the issue," well, you're the one in the first place that caused the issue. So it doesn't make what you're saying, it makes no sense. You should be apologizing for all the businesses, small businesses, including our business, for causing damages because you caused the issue. Okay? But let's go to what actually happened. I think from what happens we can deduct. Let's explain how your mobile basically connects to the network. It has a SIM card with the ID in it. Part of the ID is the serial number. Another part is IMEI of the device, which is basically unique for each device and which SIM card. So using those multiple numbers, they're quite long numbers, the network can identify your SIM card specifically and your device specifically, and it can say, okay, that's Dimitar, so I'm going to give him 5G access, and I'm going to give him, I'm going to link all the calls to his number, incoming, outgoing, and that basically is the customer identification. What I think happened, that usually those things are kept in a database. Usually we do have other providers we worked with in New Zealand. In my experience, when I was working with them, we do have that database synced and updated around midnight or whatever the time is set. In this case, 4 or 5 minutes after 4 o'clock in the morning. And if something goes wrong, what the effect of that update of the database is, the network will not be able to identify your device. It will not be able to link your specific number, your device number, to who you are, what services it should be running in the background. From what I saw in our data center, I think that's the most likely event. That's the most likely what happened. Again, Optus is free to come out and say, no, this is not what happens. Let us see. Show us actually what happens. Because again, I didn't detect any worsen of the 5G or the 4G signal. The signal strength was present all the time until all through the morning, until lunchtime, and even after that, Wednesday, when they fixed the issue. The noise to signal ratio was excellent, but in terms of identification from device to the system, the device was coming and saying, "Yep, I don't know you. I can't get any walk on the tower," because the tower will say, "I don't know you. Who are you?" And that most likely happened through a update in the synchronization in that database. What else could have happened is a firmware update, which very unlikely. The firmware updates are pushed at different timing. There are quite a few different devices on that network, so to be caused by a single firmware update is not likely. unless 60,000, 100,000 devices were updated their firmware. But if that was the case, the downtime would have been not hours but weeks. So from what we saw, from what I can deduct, most likely there was a glitch in a database that links your specific serial number of the SIM card and IMEI number of the phone to your account. And then we saw later when the things start getting back, the first thing that happened, we start getting the 5G back, the internet back, not necessarily 5G. We start getting the internet back, but no phone calls. It means that part of the notification of the services were present, and part were the linking behind the phone call network that's supposed to link through different, to send you call digitally through different cell towers was not working. So that part was down for a little bit longer. Again, thanks for watching. Hopefully that helps. Again, it's only a deduction. I'm not saying that that's exactly that what happened, but from what I saw, this is most likely the cause of that. For us in Western Australia, the problem was fixed something like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I saw some of the customers, actually our customers, getting their services restored a bit early, and some of my team get their services restored at different timing as well. Again, Optus, it's manifold so far. It's every year that something happens, the database leaks, or in this case, it's an update, firmware update, or the database update glitch. I think it can do better. I think it can test. That's why you do it at different timing. And if something like this happens, you do have more time to react, and hopefully it does not happen again. Thank you, everybody, and hope I'll see you in next podcast.